Welcome to a new episode of the DJwivesLV podcast. Make sure you subscribe on the podcast platform of your choice. Don't miss any updates. Follow DJwivesLV on Instagram. And now, coming at you from Las Vegas, let's begin.
We're back with another episode, and today's topic, we have a pretty interesting one. Today's question that came about, we're actually keeping track of like comments that we get, and we have a lot of questions that come through our podcast, whether it's through the DM, whether it's through YouTube, any social media that they are able to listen to us to. And we've jotted down some questions that we wanted to bring up and discuss. So one of the questions that were brought up was, do you guys keep in contact with your exes? And if you do, like what's that relationship, or how does that establish to keep them as an ex when you know you had obviously dated them and there's a reason why you break up? So I personally don't have one. I want to hear you guys' story. Do you guys
We know
have
how
one?
Tanya feels about it.
I know. You know me. We're ex for a reason. Part ways. Deuces. So can you guys relate, or
Wants to go first?
You go first.
Vic, you have a story?
I do, actually. Well, I think I deleted them already. But
It took a while for you to delete them?
Well, it's when I started dating Mark. I was already broken up with my ex, but I kept his number, I guess. I don't know why. And when Mark and I were dating, he just kept texting me and, trying to win me back or whatever. And I did honestly told Mark, like, hey, my ex, they still...
He's reaching out.
Yeah, reaching out. And I was working at a retail store. And my ex, actually, when I was still dating Mark, we were in a, first fresh relationship. He came and just wanted me back. So I told...
So he personally went to your job as well?
My job.
Whoa.
Yes.
Wow.
And I told
See,
Mark...
Vic? See what happens?
I told Mark, hey, my ex came and he was wanting me back, whatever.
Wait. But what happened when he came?
What
did he say?
He was in tears, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in tears, wanting...
Your ex was in tears?
Yes. And
What did he say?
I told Mark, I really forgot, but I remembered he really wanted me back. Like, what's going on? Oh, and the thing with this too, I remember he called me also and said he had an accident. He had
Guilt
an
trip.
accident, and I was
Like
actually
car accident?
a
Or
car accident, and actually I was with Mark too. We were on a date, and I answered my phone, which I probably shouldn't.
Sad.
And I was like, "Oh, okay. I hope you feel okay." He was saying he was in the ER or hospital, but he sounded so calm. I think I remember this because Mark and I were on a date, and we were gonna go to the one at the Prim with the roller coaster.
Mm-hmm. Like Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, and I told Mark too. So, I cut off ties after probably Mark was annoyed by it, and he said, "Hey, guess what?" I go, "What?" "I'm security now at your work." So he was the eye of the sky. He was the security. He got a job there. So that's when I cut ties, because he probably would see what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
That
he was more
my
than trying to get you.
story.
He really wanted
Wait,
to.
who got a security job? Your ex?
Mark.
Oh, Mark.
Mark
I thought
got
your
it.
ex.
Mark.
I was like, he was really
So Mark,
trying to get it.
He got a job at the retail store, and he just surprised me. Like, "Hey, guess what?" Like,
See
what?
who's
Now
I'm
who's
the
stalking
eye
who?
of the
Exactly.
I
Be
know.
Like, my
Want
woman.
to-
So he would
Just
never
kidding,
confront
Mark.
him. Like,
He would
did they
never
have an
confront
opportunity?
him. We saw him at a party too when I'm still dating Mark, and I went to the restroom also, and I don't know what happened. Like 5 minutes later,
Only you probably.
5 minutes later, my ex walked out. Like, I don't know if Mark did something, but I was like, "Oh my gosh, my ex is here." And I told Mark, "Hey, my ex is here." I guess everybody knows everyone in college. And I said, "I'm going to use the restroom," because I was pretty intense. Like, "Oh my gosh, what's he doing here?"
Yeah.
When I got out, he took off. So I don't know if Mark confronted him or not. But
You never asked
And
Mark?
Mark
Never
never
asked.
said anything?
yeah, so I just deleted. I cut off ties. And I got a new number. Mark's like, "You want to get a new number?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint.
You guys were boyfriend and girlfriend, Mark and you.
Yeah, we
oh,
were
you
dating
okay.
now. But I was being honest with him.
This guy cannot get off my back. He jocks me
Yeah.
like all every ways.
Yeah, so that's my
Oh.
crazy story. I totally forgot about that one.
I'm sure we don't want to bring back
him.
up the past, but sometimes it's interesting to see how the relationship, it's almost like when you were with him, like where was all the intensity and communication that you wanted when we were together, but now it
Together.
all happened when we're broken up. Like now
Yeah.
you want, oh, look at what I'm doing. Oh, look, that's great and
Yeah.
all, but
And I
all the
honestly
times we were
don't
together.
think he had an accident. I think it was
see,
like
that's bad
something
that you
where
used that
it was
against.
another.
See, it's not just women, people.
No.
Yeah,
I
I was
mean,
like,
yeah,
whoa,
we're
whoa.
men
not
do
that
it. They're
vicious.
probably
Men are really
worse.
bad.
Don't you
Yeah.
think? I think they're
could be.
they could be worse.
Yeah.
But I think when you keep the ties open, I think they think there's a chance. So if like you still if you didn't block him and you're accepting the phone call or you're
Yes.
texting back,
So
they think, oh, she's still
Exactly.
even though you don't,
yeah,
because you're being nice.
yeah, I
They
was
think
being
there's
nice.
still a chance.
Yes.
just from that.
So I'm glad
I
Mark,
agree with you.
Mark
Right?
did that. Be security, and then like, oh, let's get new numbers. I was like, yeah, sure. So that
Wow, Mark.
See, Hector would have had it all differently. I mean, I don't think I would ever, but if it were to come down to that,
Yeah.
I think he would be like fronting the gentleman and be like, she's taken and she's with me. And I see you're visiting her, so this should be the last time we can see you here, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Do we understand? Do we have an
Sure.
understanding?
And then if he doesn't get it the second time around, then
Then
he's
he'd
gonna
sock him.
really show the Scorpio
right,
side of him.
right.
You know, it's just like mutual respect. I wouldn't want nobody. I can't assume what his past was with that other person because I'm not gonna put myself in that way. I'm above that, I think.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason why he's with me.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would lower my standards. But if she disrespected, as it would be with an ex, of course, first you keep it civil, cordial, and approach that situation. And if it doesn't get to the point where sometimes you just need to add a little bit more sassiness to that confrontation and that comment and tell them, you know, there's a reason why I'm coming at you again. You know,
yeah.
obviously you didn't get the first time around that this man or this woman is taken. So,
Time to move on.
you know, yes. So peace out and move on.
Have you
So-
seen him since, Vic?
No,
Ah.
I
He's
don't-
still in
But all it
Vegas?
took is changing your number.
think
Sometimes
so.
you got to do what you got to do, babe. That's it.
Yeah.
Change your number. Sometimes you got to do that.
It did it.
it did.
How about you, Raquel?
So long ago, like talking about exes, you know, but I know that I was really close to some like some guys before I started dating Brian,
Yeah.
and he did not like that. So I remember I just stopped talking to them, and we were really close. You know, I wasn't romantically involved with any of them,
Yes.
but Brian just thought they want, like, you know, whoever I was close to wanted a relationship, you know? So he was bothered by it. And I just said, well, it's not important. So I just stopped talking to them. And I didn't even think anything of it. I just thought, you know, if he's not comfortable with it, then why fight? You know, I don't
Yes.
really care. Just
Exactly.
I mean, to this, I'm still friends with that person, but we're not close. So that's okay. I think you
Yeah.
could still be friends, but you can't be up, you know, in that person's life, you know, if someone else is bothered by it.
It's hard
by the
sometimes when
relationship.
there's some relationships that you develop through a friend or you know of, and then you part ways, but I still know your friend or that family member. And it's like you're bound to see each other, but you learn that, okay, we've ended ties. So you hopefully have the respect to just not have to, you know, feel like awkward going to a place or location where you're bound to go to the
Yeah,
same
no.
places. So I think it's just depends on the person and how mature you are, I think, at that point of understanding when you guys do in a relationship. Unfortunately, there's no reason for me to understand staying friends. Because some say we're better off as friends. I don't get it. Do you guys get it?
I think it's possible.
It is?
You think it's possible?
Yeah, I mean, friends as in cordial.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
not
think-
not like in your life type friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it could be possible if everyone was mature enough to.
Bev is on
appreciate
another
it.
level.
Yeah,
I
right?
know.
really think
She's
she's on
very-
another
I
level.
mean, I just think if both persons are comfortable with it,
Yeah,
then it's
yeah.
possible.
I think if we were old, I mean, as we're older now, but before, I think it's just
It's
childish.
different.
Like, I
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it wasn't even worth staying friends
Yeah.
because are you going to have that other friend? Oh, you know who she's dating now? It's like, really? That's just where it gets like ugly and it's just
Well, obviously, if one person is not comfortable with it, then you have to
Then you
respect their
can't.
feelings.
Yeah,
Some-
exactly.
they
But
don't
when,
care.
all parties involved are mature, because, people are split up, sometimes are divorced, have children,
Yep.
have to be
That
in each
aspect,
other's
yeah.
lives.
Mhm.
Don't
Totally
get
different.
together for parties.
Co-parenting.
Yeah, so what's the difference?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true.
I mean, yes, it's a reason
That's
because
true.
you have children,
Yeah.
but even if you don't have children and you're just mature enough to handle it,
yes,
so be it.
I guess so, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah,
So,
that does
thanks,
make
Bev.
sense.
You know,
That
Brian's ex-girlfriend actually came to our wedding. We invited her.
Oh, see?
Yeah, because we were at a good place in our lives, all of us.
Yeah.
So
And
no
what?
one,
And
no one
they're
thought
not
about
coming off
that.
as an
I
immediate
can't even,
threat.
when
No,
you get
not at
married, You
all.
try
Not
to
at
think
all.
of family and friends on your guest list, but you are willing to bring the ex into the guest list.
Well, if
Because
she
she
was
was
a
part
friend.
of the
Court?
the group of friends
Right.
that Brian had.
And that's what I mean. If you're all cool and everything's fine and
Alright.
everyone's moved on,
Wow, this is
what's the big deal?
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
But if the spouse has or significant other has a problem with it, then
Then it's a
of
problem. Yeah.
course. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, obviously, if the relationship parted for other ways that was just jealousy or there's actually mental stuff or things that you just weren't helping that relationship, vice versa, then I get that part too. So, yeah, they're better off as staying like separated and friends or just like civil, like, hey, think it's just best that our relationship gets getting too toxic. So you have to part ways. But yeah, it takes two. But I don't have a story. I don't. Do you girls? Anybody else?
I think mostly I think mostly single people have a hard time separating themselves from the relationship. But once they have another person in their life, then they're like, okay, I can move
delete
on,
Yeah.
right?
Like me. I think Mark did it for me.
He's like, I'm showing up as security, and
Yeah,
we're not
you're
going
like,
back. You
"Vic,
gotta,
if this
yeah.
ain't good enough for you to tell you that I know that this guy's coming at you at your work,
Yeah.
then I don't know
I
what
was-
else you want me to do."
Mark knew what he wanted. He's
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
And I was
leave
being
us
honest
alone.
with him. but
No,
he's
that's
like,
good. He knew.
Surprise. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's a
Well-
good story, Vic.
Well, thank you, Vic, for letting us know that little insight of your past. And for all of us that probably don't have a story, but I'm sure we are familiar with this topic for many. Hope we answered it to our viewers. And we'll have many more questions that come about, and we'll address them and have fun with them answering them. So thank you again for joining us, DJ's Wives LV podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.